And I remember being mind blown that my mom had a record that Pete Rock sampled, because you couldn't get more polar opposite than Pete Rock and my mom in the entire world. And that was their connection. Like, they both had that same record. And when I found that, it kind of made everything make sense for me. And it kind of really inspired me to want to like dig for records my whole life. Hey, I'm Mick.
And I'm Myles.
We are about to dig in the crates at Okayplayer.
Check it out.
I discover music in so many different places. Like, I like finding like obscure record stores. No matter where I'm traveling in the world, I always actively like seek them out. And it's a great way actually to like learn a town when you're traveling. It's just like find a couple cool record stores, and that inevitably leads to like all the other cool things you want to check out in the town.
I find new music, Spotify, YouTube, and on games.
And my first choice, N.W.A. Greatest Hits. Just the way that they use samples and the way they used everything really inspired my musical ear. But the fact that my parents didn't stop me really from listening to things kind of has inspired like how I let him listen to things, because like we'll let a couple bad words slide every now and again, because he's a New York City kid. Like, he walks down the street and he hears more things than I ever heard my entire childhood. So we just try to have a little bit of balance, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yes.
A little bit? I grew up in a household where we kind of listened to like everything. I grew up in, like, I was a child of the 80s, so like, you know, we listened to top 40 radio, as much MTV, VH1, all that. So you could hear everything in my household, from literally Lionel Richie to Michael Jackson to polka. I just grew up in a situation where music didn't really have a genre, which was really cool.
So this is the record Lionel Richie. I have a pet at home, and his name is Lionel Richie.
What's the song we were gonna sing when he walked in the house for the first time?
Hello.
I would go through my mom's record collection, and she only had like a couple crates of records, but I remember finding the Hair soundtrack, and it had a song that Pete Rock sampled. And I remember being mind blown that my mom had a record that Pete Rock sampled, because you couldn't get more polar opposite than Pete Rock and my mom in the entire world. And that was their connection. Like, they both had that same record. And when I found that, it kind of made everything make sense for me, and it kind of really inspired me to want to like dig for records my whole life. You want to do that one, or yours, or both? You can do both.
This is it. Okay. So this is Kendrick Lamar. I love this music. I love his music because I can rap to it, and it's really good.
What's your favorite song on that record?
TV Off by Kendrick Lamar.
I think my favorite album artwork of all time has to be Midnight Marauders by Tribe Called Quest. I don't know, I was probably like a freshman or sophomore in high school when that came out, and there weren't ways to like reference who all those faces were on the cover. And I thought it was a very selfless thing of them to do, like to not put yourself on your own album cover, but instead put all your peers and people that are kind of your competitors, but also the people that inspire you, and just to like shine light on the culture as a whole versus your own group. Like, who does that? It was wild. Nobody does, to this day, nobody does that. I gotta choose this one. Ghostface, Supreme Clientele, classic, probably my favorite Ghost album, probably my favorite Wu-Tang album, actually. When this came out, I was like deep in my like college radio era. That led to me doing like parties and clubs and mixtapes and all sorts of other stuff. But my true DJ start, this is one of those albums that just like changed my life, for sure.
I like the song to match with the cover. My favorite album cover would be Kendrick Lamar.
Black Grand National? Yeah, there you go. Stevie Wonder Greatest Hits. Stevie Wonder's timeless. Like, play Stevie for every age, every group. Like, there's always a song that just like is impactful. Just so much eclectic stuff that you could never play out as a DJ, but you could just like listen to it like on a Sunday afternoon where you're cleaning your house, and it's just so musically impactful. The last record I paid for, I was in LA last week for an event, and I went record shopping at Amoeba Records. I looked through this whole crate like 3 times, and I didn't see anything that was interesting to me. And then this other guy started looking through it, and he pulls out Pointer Sisters, Yes We Can, which is like a classic sample, just classic song. And I looked through this crate 3 times. And so I kind of went on eBay right next to the guy. And I was like, you know, I didn't tell him, I was just like, I need that. And I ordered it and I shipped it to my house.
This is a Tribe Called Quest, and I like this record because one of my favorite songs are Scenario.
Yeah, we used to get ready to tribe in the mornings. The last 4 songs of Midnight Marauders. We use it as a 15-minute timer to get out the door.
Powerful impact, boom, from the cannon.
Perfect.
My favorite music video is Not Like Us.
My favorite music video of all time is actually Scenario. Because when that came out, it kind of redefined how you can make music videos. It just wasn't dudes like rapping in the street or dudes in a car or whatever. It was just like super high tech for the time. Pretty revolutionary. And even today when you watch it, it's just like, it's an incredible experience to watch it. They were super ahead of their time with that. I gotta choose this. I gotta choose OutKast, 80 Aliens. This is a very, very important album to me. Aside from it being probably my favorite OutKast album to like listen to, I grew up as a big comic book fan. Still to this day, huge comic book fan. His name is Myles because of Miles Davis, but also Miles Morales. This came out the day before I went to college. And this album was the soundtrack of me going from being basically a boy to a man. If we were to create a song with 2 of our favorite rappers, like who would it be? Who would you choose? Who would you want on the song?
I would choose Kendrick.
I would choose Black Thought. And I'd like to see them do a song together. Because I know like the lyricism, the bar level of that song would be astronomical. So you couldn't be like, turn it off in the car because there's your favorite rapper on it. And I wouldn't turn it off because it has mine.
Okay.
We gotta talk about Dilla. Like, I mean, we're at Okayplayer, right? So like you can't not touch like that whole Dilla chamber of stuff. What can I say that hasn't been said about this amazing person? Midwest guy, originally from the Midwest, originally from Ohio, he's from Detroit, so just was always inspired by just the Detroit hip hop scene in general. It was the Slum Village movement and everything was so impactful to my sonic ear. And then, I don't know when it was, maybe like, wow, it might have been like 15 years ago now. It really changed the course of my mixtape career working with Busta on a Dilla project. I don't even know any of my favorite artists that haven't worked with Dilla or rapped over a Dilla beat, whether it's The Roots or De-La or really even the new artists today that are just rediscovering stuff and doing freestyles over it. It's incredible, and there'll never be somebody that chopped up samples as great as this guy. Ooh, you're ripping the price tag.
Because no one wants to see the price tag.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever been to a concert?
Me, many times, yes.
Many times. Thank you. So what was the last concert that you went to?
Do You Want More 30th anniversary show, and it was like my birthday weekend. So him, myself, my wife, we went kind of as like my little birthday family treat, and it was awesome.
So this is De La Soul, and I like this album because it has some really good songs, and it's one of my dad's favorite albums.
When I first listen to a song, I definitely hear the beat first. I actually, I obviously appreciate lyrics, but it's interesting as a DJ, I don't actually know the lyrics to a lot of the songs that I'm DJing, but I know the rhythm and the cadence of the song. So I know when I need to cut it out so the crowd could say something. I know when to mix out of it. What'd you find?
I found the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I used to watch the show, not as much now, but
Because you're on YouTube all the time?
Yes. And I can rap the whole intro. Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
I'm excited to introduce Myles to the whole Wu-Tang chapter of hip hop. We're a couple years away from him really understanding some of the concepts and some of the lessons of the stuff that they taught. Oops, can't walk that way. You don't know that song. You don't know anything about humping around. We're gonna put that.
Did you say hump?
Yes, I said hump. It's like a whole universe, like the Marvel universe. It's kind of like that, but with music, and I think you'd find it fascinating.
Yes.
This was actually my favorite Public Enemy album out of all their albums. I know that might be a debatable hot take, but for me, this was the one that just really moved me. I loved it for a multitude of reasons. Just the way they layered samples on it was just so textured. And obviously what Chuck D was talking about was super relevant then, probably even more relevant now, which is crazy. And then the thing that I really loved about this album was they did the remake of Bring the Noise, but they did it with Anthrax, which was a metal band for those who don't know. And at the time, doing a heavy metal / hip hop collaboration was very new. It was very taboo. It wasn't like common at all. And for them to cross over those two worlds was pretty insane to do it around. Like, I think this was like 91, 92 maybe. So this was even just like the way they did their whole mythology was crazy, because they had like the S1Ws and they had Terminator X and they had all these people. It was fascinating to like learn the entire history of everything. So definitely shout out to Public Enemy. The album that I listen to a lot to like put me in a good mood actually is Pete Rock and Sales Smooth, The Main Ingredient. It just sounds like a hip hop album. It sounds like a jazz album. It sounds like an album with musicians, even though it's samples. It's just like, sounds like it's a perfect album of calmness and happiness. And I remember listening to that in high school thinking like, this is an album that will sound good when I'm an old man. And now that I'm an old man and I listen to that album, I still feel the exact same way. As well, I mean, while we're talking about it, Jazzy Jeff and I have done a lot of cool projects together, and friends. He's one of the greatest humans you'll ever meet. He's the DJ on The Rapper. Was the first recorded piece of music I ever bought with my own money and my own like brain. I remember like I was in 4th grade, which is ironic because he's in 4th grade, and it was the piece of music that got me into everything. And so I love that he has like a kind of a similar touch point with the same group.
Songs that get me out of a bad mood are Turn Down for What, because it makes me go crazy.
Oh, I got one. We gotta pick some Miles Davis. Now you can't say this word, so don't. So cover your eyes. But you know, we can't. I wouldn't have a Miles if there wasn't a Miles Davis. And so also like, would we even have jazz as we know it without Miles Davis? Would we even have? Huh? I love jazz. But you don't like jazz, but you like a lot of stuff that samples jazz. So you do like jazz. That's what's beautiful about it.
No.
And you do. By the way, when you're at home and you're reading your book and you put on that YouTube with the relaxing music, you know what that is? Jazz. It just doesn't say jazz. It says YouTube music for kids to read to. So there you go.
Because it helps me focus.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean I like it.
I mean, Miles Davis, I mean, come on, what more can you say? Like, classic album, classic artwork, classic title. I bet you there were a lot of kids listening to this that were actually able to say bad words in front of their parents when this album came out because of the title. Hey, I'm Mick.
And I'm Myles.
And we just finished digging in the crates at Okayplayer.
Check it out.